This video is brought to you by Grandeur Warranty, your #1 online source for factory-backed extended warranties in the country.
How good is the Mazda CX-30 all-wheel drive system? Well, that's what we're going to find out today, because we're going to put this thing through the TFL slip test, which is an all-wheel drive torture test to see how it will perform in a controlled situation, so you'll have an idea how this thing works in the snow, in the mud, in the ice, on your commutes. And then we're going to get it out into Andre's pit and find out what that means in the real world. Let's go hit it. All right, everybody, so our first test is the front wheel slip test. So the goal of this test is we get the front wheel stuck on purpose in these rollers to see if the rear wheels can get us unstuck. All right, let's see if she can do it. So the testing procedure is the same for every test and every vehicle. We roll into the rollers, put the car in neutral, let it settle. Then we go into drive, and I just feed in on the throttle like you're trying to get unstuck in snow. You don't want to just mash it down, and I just feed more and more throttle until we get unstuck. So let's see what happens. So a little bit of accelerator, quite a bit of accelerator. Now full throttle. Ooh, not a very good result. I mean, it took a lot of spinning and a lot of heavy throttle until we got unstuck. And let me give it one more go. Now, one thing I can try is this car does have an off-road mode, or I should say a linguini mode, because there's a little button here that shows a car crawling up some spaghetti. But we'll try the off-road mode and see if that helps engage the rear axle faster. So into reverse. Backing out of the rollers. Okay, into neutral, into drive, building in some accelerator. Oh, big old bang. And then it shot us forward. That was not very progressive though. So it's getting off the rollers, but it's working pretty hard at it. Not a great result so far. The goal of this test is to see kind of a progressive, controlled movement out of a stuck situation. And in the first one we tried, it took a long time before we got unstuck. And the second time, it was like a immediate engagement of the rear axle and then forced us off. So we're going to try the diagonal slip test, left front, right rear stuck in the rollers, and let's see if we can get unstuck this time. So we're starting out in the normal mode, and then we'll try the off-road mode. So we're settled, onto the throttle, traction control is blinking, more throttle now. There we go. Okay, so what I'm noticing is that, look, all all-wheel drive systems and traction control systems behave a little differently. This one seems to require a lot of throttle input before things actually really start happening, but we were able to get off. We'll try that test one more time with the off-road setting on. This all-wheel drive system makes me nervous because it's a little unpredictable as to when it starts that torque transfer. Okay, so we're in the rollers, off-road mode engaged, into drive. There we go, that's better. That's what I like to see. Okay, so definitely more engagement from the brakes that time, which is able to send wheel speed to the corner it needs to happen. So definitely an improvement that time in the off-road setting versus the normal on-road setting. Let's step it up to the 3-wheel slip test. All right, so we're really stepping it up a notch now to the 3-wheel slip test. So both rear wheels are stuck. The left front is stuck. Only the right front has traction. We're gonna start out in the normal setting, and then we can go into the off-road setting if we want to see the difference there. So this is more extreme than you might typically find in the snow or in the ice or in your more adverse commutes, but we like to push these systems to the limit to see how they compare at the very bleeding edge of what they're supposed to be able to do. So into neutral, into drive, normal mode. It's trying. The car's shifting. Okay, so what we saw there, the car technically cheated there, and this is one of the challenges with the 3-wheel test, is as you get that wheel speed transfer, that wheel on the ground starts to act as like a pivot as torque is started to apply, and the car kind of start to slip and slide off the rollers. So we did get off the rollers, but it was more because the car slid and cheated rather than that front wheel fully grabbing. So we'll try one more time in the off-road setting and maybe we can get a more consistent test result. All right, off-road setting engaged. Let's see what happens in the reverse. Onto the rollers. There we go. Neutral, let the vehicle settle. Into drive. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, way better torque transfer. Okay, wow. Well, it was pretty violent. This car only has 2 settings. It's got the normal mode, where not a lot happens, and then it's got the off-road mode, where maybe too much happens all at once and it just pounds you in the back. I feel like there could be a little bit of a middle ground here, but it sledgehammered its way off the rollers. So the final test is 3-wheel slip test with 1 rear wheel on the ground. Now this is much harder for these front wheel drive based crossovers that use something called a PTU or power transfer unit to send power to the rear, because these are primarily front wheel drive based systems, especially when you rely on just 1 rear wheel to push the car off. This really separates the posers from the ones that are really well done. So starting off in normal mode again, as always, onto the accelerator. A lot of wheel spin. Nothing really happening though, so let's go ahead and try the off-road setting. Here we go. Oh, it's really trying. You can feel that rear end trying to work its magic. Okay, well, here's what happened. It was working at it, I was in the throttle, and then it says excessive all-wheel drive system load, drive slowly until warning, lights turn off, vehicle now in front wheel drive. So now I've got a front wheel drive CX-30, which is not going to get me unstuck clearly. So we failed the last test, but as a whole, I would say it's probably okay for most commutes and that kind of thing. If you do find yourself stuck, push the off-road mode because it does have a big impact, and then just hold on. And I'm not like necessarily criticizing the vehicle for this, because I'd rather have the off-road button do something rather than nothing, and it definitely does something. There's a huge amount of brake grab, but having the all-wheel drive system overheat in that short amount of time is definitely disappointing. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Like, I'm glad that the off-road setting actually does something. It did really well in the 3-wheel slip test with the front wheel on the ground, but we overheated it with just 1 rear wheel on the ground. It's only 47 degrees outside today, so not the best, but definitely not the worst I've tested. This Mazda is equipped with a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder Skyactiv G engine that Mazda has used for years. This is a 186 horsepower engine, no turbocharging here, no hybrid, and just a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, while the specs may not be that impressive on this engine, 27 mpg combined, it is worth noting that this engine has proven itself to be very reliable because it is just so old. All the issues have been ironed out. So that's a great thing if you're looking at buying one of these long term. And speaking of long term, if you're looking at buying a Mazda and you're worried about keeping it past the vehicle's warranty, that's where today's sponsor comes in, Grainger Warranty. With Grainger Warranty, you've got that peace of mind knowing that your vehicle is covered in the long term using factory-backed parts and dealer technicians. Check them out using the link below. Now, this 2026 CX-30 is an Air edition. I think I'm saying that correctly. And it's got some really nice things on the inside. Specifically, I love these seats. This wool-like material here down the center, and then this beautiful kind of white on the bolsters. Now, I do worry about whether or not this is going to get stained over time, because you can see some staining here even after 4,000 miles. But the way that these feel to the touch, oh, it just feels so nice. And Mazda does such a good job with their colors and their textures. For example, this black leather wrapped steering wheel with this white contrast stitching just looks so good. And in this category of vehicle, I'm talking vehicles like the HR-V, the Toyota Corolla Cross, I think that this is the nicest in its segment in terms of the interior. And this vehicle comes in an MSRP of $33,000, so you get a lot of this nice color and texture for not a huge amount of money. I especially like the suede material here along the dash. I would just drive along petting my car. It really feels that nice. In terms of technology, this doesn't have the new touchscreen that you're going to find in the CX-5. It still has the command knob, but I know a lot of Mazda enthusiasts love the command knob. I'm not a huge fan, but I'm told you do get used to it pretty quickly, and that comes from many Mazda owners, so I'll take their word at that. Interior feels a little bit tight, a little bit claustrophobic when you're sitting in here, but you know, it is quite nicely equipped. Heated seats, adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, memory seats down here as well. It's got a full driver's seat with lumbar, so all that's good. Partially digital instrument cluster. We do have physical controls for the tachometer on the left, along with fuel and temperature on the right, but it is a digital center there. It's a little bit tight in here, I'd say, but from a quality standpoint, it does feel top notch. Now, hopping into the back seat of the CX-30, this is where things do fall apart a little bit for this vehicle. It's a little bit tight. Now, granted, it is a subcompact SUV, so it's not going to be that big back here, but 6 feet tall. My knees are pretty firmly pressed into the back of the seats. Luckily, there is just a little bit of scalloping here, so I'm not in a total penalty box. Headroom is just barely adequate, but I am looking directly into the C-pillar when I look to the left. So it's not a huge back seat. It's also pretty vertical and upright. Do I have any control over the recline? I don't believe I do. No, not really, unfortunately. So it is kind of what it is. And then a big tunnel here for middle seat passengers. There is some good news though. I do really appreciate the fact there are rear AC vents. So for those furry friends or kids, it's nice to have that option to keep them cool. And then if I fold down the center here, we're going to find a couple of cup holders. So it's, once again, fairly nicely equipped back here. It's a little tight for adults. Now, lifting up the trunk of the CX-30, we're going to find 25.2 cubic feet worth of space. Over 40 cubic feet when you fold down the rear seats. It's definitely a little bit tighter than some of its competitors in its class, but certainly pretty usable. And then back here, you're also going to find a temporary spare tire, so I'm glad at least they include that. We got some rain now for our off-road test. Now, obviously, CX-30, not intended to be a 4x4 hardcore off-roader, but it is still a crossover, and you may end up trying to get to that cool campsite. So we need to see how it performs in a little bit of light off-roading, and that's where our trenches course comes in. So these are offset grooves kind of cut into the earth, and this is a real-world application of the slip test that we started up at the top. Now, of course, we're just on a standard set of all seasons, and we're going to run this test twice, first in the normal mode, second time in the off-road mode. So this is our first transition. That's the right front, left rear in the ground. Then we feel as the vehicle tips back on the other two tires. The goal is to take this slow. We don't really have the ground clearance to take this fast anyways, but we want to make this as hard as possible for the vehicle to really put it through its test. So we're nice and stuck here. Applying more and more gas. There we go. Okay, actually not a terrible result there. That was pretty decent. Definitely requiring quite a bit of the skinny pedal. This is the hardest one though, is this top one. Full throttle, come on. Let's go Mazda, let's go Mazda. All right. I don't want to snap a CV though on that transition back. There we go, come on, work it. Come on, you're so close to the top, Mazda. Full throttle now, I've been full throttle for the last probably 20 seconds. Just trying to figure it out. It's not quite there though, so what if I give it just a little bit of a bump? Nope, not having that either. Maybe a little bit more, make sure in first gear we are. Okay, so we are quite officially stuck now, so I'm gonna back it down and kind of cheat the course a little bit just so we can get this to the top, because otherwise I'll be backing all the way down that course. That's tough too. There we go. Okay, so we had to cheat there at the top to make it up. So not a pass. You know, we had to take a weird angle and had to actually avoid the hard perp. But let's try the test one more time But now I'm going to engage the off-road setting here in the CX30. Push that button, just like that. There we go. And let's see if we have any more luck. Now, we did show in the rollers how aggressive the off-road programming is on this car. So I'm hoping we see some better results out in the trenches. So off-road mode engaged. This thing's gonna be like a Wrangler Rubicon now. It is so jerky, but I can't hate it that much because it's also very effective. So there we go. Look how much more control I have going through here when that traction control is working hard. It's doing its thing too. There we go. Oh yeah, this is so much better in the off-road mode engaged. Part of the issue too, I think, is we just don't have a lot of gearing or torque for this top part of the climb. But I'm at like half throttle, where I was at full throttle before. Works great. Genuinely didn't need to cheat that line at all. Just walked through it. So, I mean, look, when you get it on 3 wheels, it's not happy. But when you get it on 2, and you put it in the off-road mode, it does okay. Not bad at all, Mazda. What a day out here. So in the slip test, the Mazda performed kind of marginally. However, when we got it out into the trenches, it also performed kind of marginally. However, when we got it out into the trenches in the right mode, it did pretty well. This is not a graceful system, but if you push that button, it really does have a big impact on vehicle performance. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Big thank you to Mazda for lending us this vehicle, and a huge thank you to Gavin for bearing the elements and filming this one. And I'll see you in the next video.